Yo, 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 welcome back to Rasodi TV, guys. What are we talking about? Credit score today. That's what we're talking about today. What is a credit score, right? So, a credit score is basically your credit history, right? So, how good you are at paying back your bills on time, right? So, the better your credit score, the more likely you will be approved for things like loans, car finance, bonds for your house, all of that good stuff, right? So the better your credit score, the more likely you will be approved for all those things, and the less interest you will pay when you're applying for that credit, right? So majority of people obviously do not have hard cash to buy a house or a car, so you're gonna need some type of finance, right? So even if you do have the money to purchase all those things cash, you still need a good credit score because it's a financially smart thing to do, right? It's some financial literacy, right? Having a good credit score can save you hundreds of thousands in a long run. Okay, so it's very good that you do focus on having a good credit score, right? I think that this should be general knowledge. Everybody should know how to operate a credit score. Everybody should know this, right? I had to come to the terms that this is not actually general knowledge. Not a lot of people know about this. They just have an overall idea of what a credit score is, but do not know how to actually increase it, maintain it, and make sure that it stays at a high pace, right? So this is what I'm going to be sharing today. I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to increase your credit score, and to make sure that it stays high so that you save a lot in the long run, and you don't get charged all this interest, and you are highly eligible to be approved for your credit, right? So a credit score in South Africa is out of 740, right? So that's your credit score. It's out of 740. So from 0 to 599, you are kind of still a newbie to this whole credit thing. So you don't have much credit history, basically, right? And then all the way up to between 658 to 740. This is what they call soaring high. So when you are in this bracket, it means you are highly likely to be approved for higher credit, right? You are most likely to be approved for a house, a car, a loan, all that good stuff. Okay, so now let me start with these tips, guys, right? So I'm gonna start with kind of the basic ones that most people would probably know a lot about credit scores, but stay to the end of the video because I will be giving you some juice. I'll be giving you some good ones that a lot of people don't know about, and most likely some of this information is not even out there on the internet like that. Not a lot of people are actually speaking about it, right? So let's not waste any more time jumping straight into it, right? So obviously the first one, guys, don't have areas in your account. So no accounts in areas. Okay, so make sure that you check all your old accounts. Ladies, if you have body your accounts got rage through it, all of that, make sure that you are paying all of those, and make sure that you are not owing them, because it's you can easily just ignore these things, right? Ignore the SMSs, all of that. Don't do that. That will highly affect your credit score, right? So your repayment profile is actually 40% of your score calculation, right? Just how good you are at paying back the money is about 40% of your entire credit score, right? So make sure that you have no accounts in areas. You don't owe anyone. Make sure that you go on your TransUnion or your ClearScore, you check your credit profile, and make sure that you don't owe anyone. Okay. And then number two, make sure that you keep your hard searches low. Okay, so there's something called a hard search and a soft search, right? A soft search is when you go up, apply for a new school for your kid or whatever, and they just check your credit history if you can pay back if you can pay the school fees and all of that. That is a soft search. It don't affect the credit score. But looking for a TV or a new house or whatever, and you're just trying to test if you can afford it or what, don't do that, right? Because that's going to be considered a hard search. And hard searches can stay all the way up to like 12 months, a whole year on your credit report, right? So, and the more hard searches you have, the more it will affect your credit score, right? So make sure you keep that low, okay? And then the next one, number 3, is keep paying on time, okay? If they say your bill is due on the 1st, don't pay it on the 5th or the 10th or the 15th, right? That will affect your credit score in the long run, right? And such things can stay up to 5 years on your record. So when they say pay on the 1st, take that very seriously and make sure that you do pay on the 1st and don't pay on the 7th or the 10th or whenever you feel like it or whenever you're not busy, all right? And then moving on to the 4th, do not have any defaults or repossessions, okay? So defaults and repossessions can stay all the way up to 5 years on your record, right? So if you cannot afford a BMW, do not buy one, right? Go buy yourself a Toyota. Don't buy a BMW, because if they repossess that car, it's gonna affect your credit score very heavily, right? Even if you the other one that takes the car back, right, it will still affect your credit score because it is a default. You have breached a contract, right? You didn't pay all the way up to what you said you would. So make sure that you only take credit for things that you can actually afford, right? So just because you are approved for something doesn't mean that you can afford it, right? That's a very important thing I just said there. Just because you are approved doesn't mean that you can afford it. So always keep that in mind, okay? And then the next one is make sure you have no legal action or court judgments against you, right? So any like child maintenance or court orders for an accident dispute, and then the judge is like, hey, you need to pay that guy. Avoid things like that, right? Avoid litigations against your name, because they will definitely affect your credit score, right? And then lastly, on these obvious ones, is lower your credit use, okay? So it is recommended that you do not spend 30%, more than 30% of your entire credit facility, right? So if the bank gave you 10,000 in credit, make sure that you do not use over 3,000 of that money, right? Make sure you use less than that. That will keep your credit score high, okay? So now we're getting into the juicy ones, guys, okay? So let's just say maybe you found yourself using your credit card and you are higher than 30% in usage, right? Maybe you had an emergency, whatever. It could have been you paid excess for your insurance, all of that, right? Now you're over 30%, right? And you're just trying to pay the money back. What you can do is you can increase your credit limit, okay? So, but you need to be very careful with this, right? This requires an extremely high discipline, okay? You need to discern between your money and money that is not yours, right? Credit is not your money, right? You need to be very clear on that. And this is how you can get checked, because when you open your app and it shows you your balance, you might think you have all this money, but it's actually really not your money, right? And please note that most credit cards in South Africa, right, you are given 55 days to pay the money back with no interest, right? So always keep that in mind, right? No matter how much you use it, all of that, you are allowed about 55 days where you can pay it back with no interest. So always make sure that you pay the money back so that you don't pay all that interest, okay? And then next one is keep old accounts open, right? So if you have an account, the old one, and you have paid it off, rather just leave it, right? Don't close it, okay? Because remember what a credit score is. It's basically your credit history. So they will see that, wow, you have been paying since 2000 and whatever on this account, and you've kept it in no areas, right? That will be good points for you. So keep all your accounts open, unless it has some high monthly fees and whatever, and you don't want to pay that, you're not using it, then you can close it. But other than that, most of these facilities they only charge interest on what you spend. So rather keep all these accounts open for your own benefit, right? And last but not least, guys, the juicy one. This is the one you have been waiting for, right? your debit card versus your credit card, right? So here's the trick. A lot of people don't know about this, but here's the trick, right? Your debit card is for your debit orders, right? So your car, your house, your cell phone, your internet, all these little debit orders, keep them on your debit card, right? And then all the money that you're gonna withdraw and use for miscellaneous things like your petrol, your groceries, your shopping, all of that money, transfer all of that money to your credit card and start swiping your credit card for everything. So at the garage, swipe your credit card for your petrol, your groceries, all of that good stuff. And then what will happen is that will increase your credit score as well, because you'll be viewed as somebody who is very good at using their credit, but all you did was just transfer money from your debit card that you swipe with, and now you are swiping it on your credit card. That will highly increase your credit score. And obviously, depending on the bank that you use, for example, I am using FNB, which I love dearly. So you will get like reward programs that will come with that, right? So on FNB we have things like eBucks, right? Which is like really free money, guys. So these things are like really like financial literacy that you need to adopt, that will save you tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands in the long run. So make sure you are in tune with all these tips, follow them, and it will save you a lot in the long run. And you will be highly likely approved for all these good things like home loans, cars, all these things. It'll be for your benefits, right? So that's it for me, your boy Rasodi. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you learned something in this video, and if you would like to see more videos like this. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.